Welcome everybody and thank you for joining me. So with E3 now pretty much behind us, I think we can all agree that the Xbox and Bethesda showcase was definitely one of the highlights of the whole event. It is hard to look at a show that featured Psychonauts 2 and Stalker 2, Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon 5 and not be impressed. But for me there was another highlight of the show that I think don't get talked about enough, and that is Xbox Game Pass. The fact that Xbox is working on bringing all of those titles to Game Pass day and date is a value that just cannot be matched right now. Every single game that they showed, with the exception of Far Cry, Battlefield and Diablo, will be a day and date release on Game Pass, and if that is not something that excites you, then I just don't know what ever will. Now Xbox also said in their blog that they are working to make Xbox a place where all fans can find great games, and I think that they are succeeding with that mission. When I think of the word all fans, it's not just those who can buy all of the consoles launch day and $20-$70 games along with it, those who can afford all of the DLC and literally just buy every single game just to have that cover on their shelf. All fans is not just PC fans and console fans and mobile fans. There is another portion of the fan base who sometimes gets overlooked, those who might not be able to afford a new console, but Xbox is still including them by making sure that the previous generation release will be available for their favorite game. Those who don't have $70 every single month for a new game but can afford a $10 subscription for Game Pass. Gaming has become a very expensive hobby, and with Xbox releasing all of their games and DLC day and date on a service like Game Pass, it does go a long way to include more gamers who otherwise would have been left behind. Now with that said, the landscape of Xbox is definitely changing, not just on how we purchase games but also how we are playing games. It is clear that there is a directional shift with cloud gaming. For those who might have missed it, Phil Spencer and Satya Nadella had an interview last week where they made it clear that they are going deep with streaming, even announcing streaming hardware that will allow you to play games on your television without a console. Now it's hard to listen to that and not imagine a world where Xbox is looking forward towards cloud gaming and moving past the physical hardware we know as consoles. Now Phil Spencer might have made it clear that this will not be the last generation of Xbox consoles, but be that as it may, a cloud future is very much on the horizon. But however we will game 10 years from now, the gaming future still looks very bright. With the ever-growing 23 devoted studios all working together to bring great games to gamers, we are now in a place where you can pretty much expect new releases on Game Pass every single month. Xbox has the ability not only to use their own studios to release great games on Xbox Game Pass, but they are also now big enough to entice third-party developers to use Game Pass as a way to boost their own games. A great example of this was at E3 when they announced that Game of the Year contender Hades will be releasing on Xbox Game Pass, fully optimized for the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. Xbox said themselves you will see many games this holiday, including Forza Horizon 5, which will boost DirectX ray tracing on both Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S, and Battlefield 2042, which will run at 60 frames while supporting 128 players on the Xbox Series X and S. Some games launches next year with our first party studios and partners such as Starfield, Redfall and Stalker 2 require the speed, performance and technology of the Xbox Series S and X. We are excited to see developers realize their vision in a way that only next gen hardware will allow them to do. For the millions of people who play on Xbox consoles today, we are looking forward to sharing more on how we will bring many of these next gen games such as Microsoft Flight Simulator to our console through Xbox Cloud Gaming, just like we did for mobile devices, tablets and browsers. They will also be doing an extended game show this Thursday where they will go deeper into what they have in store for us. Now whatever happens going forward with Xbox, I think we can all agree no matter what, there will be plenty plenty to play.